Hey, this is Miss Hines here. I'm going to show you how to take your weather data that you collected and turn the data points, into scatter plots. You need scatter plots so you can write an excellent conclusion. First of all, I'd like to thank my students who collected this data. I made a copy of it and I'm going to use it to show you how to create your scatter plots. So first things first, Google cannot create scatter plots of anything but numbers. So you need to make sure that here in all of your columns, you don't have any letters or symbols. So the columns to pay special attention to are the relative humidity. We don't want any percent symbols. Air pressure. We don't want any arrows, pointer up or down. Air temperature, no degrees symbols. Wind speed, no mph, miles per hour. And wind direction must have a numeric value. If you have those mistakes, you need to correct them before you can create your scatter plots. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to highlight your data for UV value. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the header way up here at the top, and you're going to click on it, and it's going to highlight the whole column. And then you're going to need to copy this. So if you come over here to edit and you say copy, it gives you keystrokes so that you can copy it, or you can, depending on your computer, you can maybe click on it and copy it. So I know that it's being copied because it has these dashed lines around it. I want to put this data on a new piece of paper. So right here is a tab, and I only have one piece of digital paper. I need another piece of digital paper. So I'm going to click this plus sign. It says add sheet. So I'm going to click it, and over here it says sheet 2. You can rename it if you want, okay? You can rename, but you don't have to. I'm going to click here on this box. This is box A1, and I'm going to paste my data. So there's all of the data I just borrowed from my page called All Data. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this page, All Data, and I need this information, cloud cover. So I'm going to click here at the top, and I'm going to get all of this information. I'm going to do a copy. I want all of this information. And I'm going to go back to sheet 2, and I'm going to click right here in this box called B1, and I'm going to paste it all in. Now I'm just going to click randomly anywhere on the page because I need to unhighlight things. To make the appropriate chart, I need just the numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this box, it's data, and I'm going to hold down the shift key, and I'm going to use my arrows to highlight all of this data. Clicking, 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 using my arrow key. Oh, got to the end. So that's the end of my data. I'm going to come up here to Insert, and I'm going to scroll down to Chart. We need to make scatter plots, and Google is fairly intuitive. It thinks it knows what you want to do. So it's already picked scatter plot for you. If for some strange reason it didn't pick scatter plot, all you have to do is click on this arrow and scroll down, and you can find right there scatter plot. But Google did a good job. So the next thing we need to do is we need to have title, and we need to have our X and Y axis labeled. So we're going to click on this right here where it says Customize. And we're going to scooch down to this part where it says Chart and Axis Title. We're going to click it. So Chart Title, right here, it's saying Cloud Cover versus UV value. I think I'm going to capitalize it, make it look fancy. And this is mine, so I'm going to put my name on it. Each student must have one scatter plot for every weather variable they measured, and it has to have your name on it. Oops. So now this is mine. It has my name on it. So what I typed here is over here. So I also have to have my X and Y axis labeled. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to double check. I want to work on my horizontal axis, that's sideways. So horizontal is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's got to be UV because UV goes up to 10. So it's already labeled UV. I think I'm going to capitalize the V, make it fancy. And then I'm going to click here and I'm going to do the vertical axis. It's already saying that the vertical axis should be cloud cover. And it is because we denoted how cloudy it was with numbers, 1, 2, or 3. But I'm going to fancy it up. It's a title. Give it a capital letter. There we go. So it looks great, but it still doesn't have the information we need. We need that R squared value. So to get that R squared value, I'm going to scroll down in my chart editor until I find series. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to scroll down until I find trend line. And I'm going to check that box. See how it drew the trend line? It's so smart. And then I need the R squared value. So I'm going to scroll down until I get to this show R squared right there. And if I go to the top, I've got trend line. And you can see that the R squared value equals 0.061. That's looking pretty good. Alrighty, so it's ready to print. So I'm going to X that out. And then I'm going to come to my chart. And when I click on my chart, can you notice the blue outline? That's called handlebars. If I'm in my data, no handlebars. If I'm in my chart, I get those blue handlebars. Now I'm going to click on those 3 dots. And it's going to give me an option to move to own sheet. So I'm going to click that. And there's my chart. So now I can print my chart. So I'm going to ask to print. And I get some print settings. And then I'm going to follow the directions by clicking next. And then it's going to print. All right, so after you check all this out, you would click print, and then you'll walk to the printer to pick up your scatter plot. Now here's the crazy thing. You got to redo all of these steps because you've got to make 6 scatter plots. You're going to make a scatter plot for UV and relative humidity, UV and then air pressure, UV and air temperature, UV and wind speed, UV and wind direction. You can do this. You've got video directions and printed directions, and you've got your classmates to help you. Keep going. I believe in you. If you need help, please ask.